What's up, gamers around the world? Welcome to Game Breaking News, where I bring you everything important that happened last week in the world of gaming. And well, last week the show was kinda light on news because, well, the week before just sucked. But this week we got it good. But first, some news on our own account. There won't be a Game Breaking News next week because, well, unlike on HBO and Game of Thrones, where winter is coming for about 6 years now, in real life, summer is coming and I've got to leave my winter residence and fly back home to have sex with a ladybird. But more on that, what's up with Game Breaking News at the end of the video. Okay, let's start with the Switch and, well, let's say the joke of the week. Because, believe it or not, but Nintendo expects more third-party support for the Switch than before. Seriously? I mean, seriously? How could it get even worse, Nintendo? How? Just how? I mean, it can only get better. The support for the Wii was not really overwhelming, but the sales numbers of the console kind of forced the devs to also try to develop for the Wii. Mostly, I think they failed, and the best games for the Wii were Nintendo games. And, well, the Wii U... Well, okay, it's not polite to talk bad about the dead, so let's see. Sure, Shigeru Miyamoto also backed his claim by saying that the Switch also supports the Unreal and the Unity engine and is based on MediaTek. So many games developed for the PC, for example, will have it easier to be ported to the Switch. Well, with the specs of the Switch, I would say it will be mostly indie games, but I don't mind that at all. I do not need AAA titles. I need fun games. Okay, that's enough Nintendo for 1 week. We need to wait and see how the sales numbers will be in about a month. Well, speaking of sales numbers, let's switch over to... See what I did there? Oh man, I'm funny. Over to Final Fantasy XV. The game's director said in an interview that Final Fantasy broke even on day one. So that means that the 5 million copies, physical and digital, were enough to do that. Sure, 5 million is quite a high number, but did they really manage to break even a game that was in development for over a decade? I don't know, but tell you what, Watch Dogs 2 was not in development for that long, and the day one sales were soft, quote-unquote, as Ubisoft described them this week. But Ubi boss Yves Guillemot said the sales numbers stayed fairly strong after the release. That is because the game is, well, quite good, as I also said in my Gagas review, and gamers talk to each other. Well, mostly through the internet, but still. You know, the message gets across. And that was basically the problem of the first Watch Dogs. It had much hype, but a game that was mostly lacking. And that was reversed in Watch Dogs 2. So Ubisoft just learned from what happened. Okay, speaking of good sales numbers after release, I mean, seriously, you can fuck me in the ear. GTA 5 is still selling like a Steam sale. Damn it. In 2016, they sold more copies than in the 2 years before that. Holy shit. Guys, I can't believe that I'm saying that, but you got to stop buying GTA 5. If those sales numbers continue, we will never get another one. Why make a new game if you make, a shit ton of money with what you got right now? Anyway, that being said, I can't wait for Red Dead Redemption 2. Guess who else couldn't wait? Gabe Marcello. Man, this is tough. So, Gabe had some issue with the heart, and he really wanted to play the new and upcoming Zelda game. And after some social media ruckus the family created, Nintendo invited him to Nintendo North America and he was allowed to play it. But by now Gabe has already passed away and won't be able to play the released game. Man, that really fucking sucks, man. Like, balls. Damn. Alright, we need something to cheer up before we continue. Okay, but as said, no more Nintendo Switch news this week. So, next up, EA is working on a Switch version of FIFA 18. And it's not just, a port of the game. No, this is a version that is specially designed for the Switch. Whatever that means. Man, those sport games are just EA printing money with as little innovation as possible. Speaking of making tons of money with no innovation, Fallout 4 is now Bethesda's most successful game. So it has sold more than Skyrim? Really? Okay, we had the talk before about games and sales after release and how mouth-to-mouth is propelling these sales. Yet, Fallout 4 has sold more. I mean, damn, Skyrim is a game that is over 5 years old, but it never really went away. It is still everywhere around the internet in form of memes, videos, comments, and whatnot. Fallout is, well, to my perspective, well, that isn't. Huh. Well, I guess the continued support of the game, like the new HD textures for Fallout 4 that were released this week, are one of the reasons why new players arrive in the Commonwealth every day. Hey, congrats Bethesda, just make sure to make your next game the most successful game again, and make sure it's a good one. Speaking of a good game, well, they said they were working on it already in 2015, but this week Project Cars 2 was officially announced and Slightly Mad Studios had something to say. But more on that after a little break. Let's take a short break by asking what the fuck is wrong with Trump and handshakes, and that it actually began already a couple of years back.
Great job. I don't know if you're going to win or not, but congratulations on doing a good job.
You, sir.
There he is.
Hey man, what's going on, Donald? Good to see you, buddy.
Good seeing you.
And apparently it did not get any better when he ran for president.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you to Mike Pence. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, now Project Cars 2. So, what do we get? Well, apparently 170 licensed cars, more tracks than ever before in a racing game, well, according to the devs, a dynamic weather system where the water is supposed to make puddles dynamically. I mean, fuck me. There are even supposed to be weather seasons throughout the year, you know? Different race types from GT to rally, driving from asphalt to ice to dirt. Alright, so in my opinion, the first title had some cars that were very hard to handle, and I hope that they will work on that. But that's not all the news we got for Project Cars 2. There will be also a 12K support for, you know, your Project Valerie with 3 4K monitors. Okay, fuck. If you have 3 4K monitors and you play Project Cars 2, well, you fucking played with a steering wheel. And if you use that, a laptop is fucking useless, Razer. Okay, man. But if there was ever a time to buy a racing wheel to plug into your system, it is this year. Next to Project Cars 2, there is Dirt 4, GTR 3, Gran Turismo Sport, and most likely a new Forza that will be announced at E3. Well, it's car porn for everybody. Also, they announced a special treatment for the Xbox Scorpio. Interesting, let's see what they can get out of that little beast. And they also stated that Project Cars 2 will not come out for the Nintendo Switch. But not only that, they will also get VR support. Now, there is not really that much details that we got on that so far. For example, we don't know what VR gear we'll need and how it will look on PlayStation VR. Alright, speaking of VR. Now, last week I kinda overlooked this, but Capcom released some statistics about the behavior of the gamers that were playing Resident Evil 7. What's interesting is that almost 10% of all the players were using VR. That is actually an impressive number because that's 10% of all the players, and Resident Evil 7 was only available for PSVR. So I'd say about 20% of all the PlayStation players that bought Resident Evil had PSVR. That's not that 20% of PlayStation 4 users have VR. No, Resident Evil is probably the best game to get PSVR right now. That's why they probably all bought it. But let's see if VR makes it to the masses and how gaming will evolve this year or not. Now, the reason why I put in some news from the week before into this show is, well, that Resident Evil switched over to first-person view mainly because of the VR mode. And this week there were some rumors about a possible Assassin's Creed with VR. Now, nothing is really clear yet as to if it is something concrete or if it's just a prototype that will never see the light of game stores, or if it's just a mode added to the next title, or if the next Assassin's Creed will fully support VR. And will it also go to first person too? Or will it make something new? All we know for sure is that Ubisoft is investing and developing hard for VR. They believe it's the future. And with an Assassin's Creed VR, that door might kick wide open. Sure, I know what you're thinking. It's all speculations, and even an Assassin's Creed alone won't make it happen for VR. But is it alone? Sure, at the moment games for VR are quite rare, but for example, Valve is working on 3 full VR games. Exactly. Master of Steam, Lord Gaben himself said that they are not doing just some experiments, but full VR games. He says that it's not really the price holding back VR at the moment, it's mostly the lack of games and, well, must-haves. Man, Valve has been out of the game development picture for quite some time now. And fuck, we'll see what they're gonna pull out. And finally, Call of Duty.
For Call of Duty,
Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty,
Call of Duty, Call of Duty.
It seems, unlike Final Fantasy 15 and Watch Dogs 2, Activision is not satisfied with the sales whatsoever. So apparently Infinite Warfare sold less than 50% than previous Black Ops 3. That is why they now want to go back to the roots. Well, which is fine, I guess, but fuck, the next Call of Duty is up by the end of the year. And if you haven't got your concept by now, I fear it's, well, too late now. Or do you want to tell me that your games are so interchangeable that you can switch up the models at any time and it will be still the same game? Oh, well, I guess. Okay, guys, that's it for this week. And unfortunately, like I said at the beginning of the show, there won't be an episode of Game Breaking News next week because, well, I'll be away. And sure, thanks to all the planes in the air, I could get some Wi-Fi, but guys, I'm on vacation. Alright, that means that in 2 weeks we'll get an amazing show looking at what happened in the next 2 weeks. Also, Game Breaking News is still new, but so far I got some really good feedback and the statistics on YouTube are off the charts. Well, at least for my standards. So GBN is definitely going to continue, and what I just said is also true completely for Gaga's reviews. Alright, about my Let's Plays, well, Resident Evil 7 will of course continue, but when it ends, well, there will be a short break until Horizon Zero Dawn comes out on the 26th. No, 28th, yeah. Alright, thanks for watching, thank you for allowing me to be your host here on Game Breaking News, and now I'm off to fuck a bird. See you then.